So last night I was on my couch. I'm going through this transcendence process with you, as you know. And I was sitting there and I was a little bit sad. I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit sad because my children are with my parents and my sisters for a few days, like 5 nights. And it's amazing, but they've never been away from both of us at the same time. They're 8 and 10. So I was a little bit sad because my son rang me and he was really upset. He's like, Mum, why are you so far away? I want you to be here with me. I'm afraid of going to sleep because I'm used to being with you. Like he's used to me giving him lots of cuddles before bed and talking about the day he had and all that type of stuff. And my 8-year-old was bawling his eyes out and he didn't care who could see. He was just like, I want my mum. So I was sad. And then what happened was I heard a child singing a song outside. So I'm in my house. I don't know where these children were coming from. And they were singing that song, I'm Like a Bird, from Natalie and Brumalia. I don't know how to say her last name. And that song is such a profound song for me because every time spirit is around me and they want to let me know that they're around, that they're supporting me, that, or maybe it's guidance for somebody else in my reality, I always know that that song will pop up and I could hear it. It was literally being sung. And I said to Luke, that is fascinating. I'm sitting in my house and I can hear a song being sung from a child, but it was spirit working through that child. So no matter where we're at, no matter what is happening in our life, we have got signs and synchronicities. So spirit was here and I was sad because I'm human and my little boy is crying. And, although in Magnificent Mediumship, I'm always teaching how to utilize energy and what do we do when our children miss us? I teach all that stuff. But in that moment, when my child was crying because he physically wanted his mum to tuck him in and tell him how cute he is and how much she loves him. And, although my sister was there, he was like, please come now. He was pulling on my heartstrings. Do you know what I mean? And this is what makes us so human. You can have all the tools in the world, but we empath. So I woke up and I was a little bit sad too because I was like, I hope my boy's okay. Of course he's fine. He's having the best time of his life. His aunties are like his second mum. It's second mums. And of course, my mum has always been in their life very closely since they were born. So he's perfectly fine. But do you know what I mean? So spirit is always here to support us all the time. And the moment I heard that, I said, thank you. Thank you for the reminder, spirit. I'm always supported and loved and guided no matter what. Let's get into this amazing training. We're going to be talking about balance today, which is kind of hilarious because we're going to do some energy clearing on what balance actually is. We're going to be talking about systems that work, which is ironically what I'm talking about when I'm saying, hey, how are you wanting to be supported in 2024? Is it having a mentor? Is it developing a system for your business? Is it working on the system of yourself and your being and your soul? What is working for you? What is not? And let's look into the rhythms and the cycles. Okay, let's look into these things. Now, this session is going to be me planting seeds, and you need to figure out which ones resonate with you so you can water the seed, put the sunshine on the seed, nurture the seed so you can start growing. Do you need a coach or a mentor? Absolutely not. Do you want one? Will it create more for you? What do you want to do with yourself in 2024? What do you want to do in the year to come, the month to come, the day to come? Okay, so I had lots of different headings for today. So I had to double check with Luke. What did we decide the day was going to be on? Because this day is not solely focused on one topic. This is, like I said, many different seeds that I am planting, sowing for you. Lots of little threads that are going to go out. So everyone's going to get something different from it. So let's start off with how now? How are we feeling right now? We're on day 5. Can you believe it? And if this is your first time here and you're just joining us now, then welcome. You can go back to the guides and catch up, or if anything's resonated with you, More than other days, you can go back and watch the replays that are available for a limited time, but I'll have them open until the end of the year. Got the workbook as well. So no stress, no fretting. You are where you are. So how now? Once you've accessed the feeling now, you can pop that in the chat box. If you're here live, if you're on replay, hashtag replay. How now? Why is this so important? Just that reminder. So we need to come back into the presence, bring our roots down, spread those roots, gather ourselves from wherever we have been today inward. And I have been everywhere, multi-dimensional, interdimensional being. And I have got so much that I want to share with you. So I'm going to bring it all in so I can condense that energy, not shrink it, not confine it, but to concentrate it, to bring it forward, to channel it through. Okay. So we drop our barriers, we expand our energy. And of course, we did the 1 minute meditation, which was all about self-care. We drop our barriers, we expand our energy. We have those roots down and we breathe in. And we land. There we go. Creating harmony within your own system. Oh my goodness, I just did a YouTube video all about this, which will be released shortly. And this is all about the systems that we buy into. And many are buying into the system of maybe it's organized groups like religion, or we've got the education system, we have got the different governments, we have got many different groups that serve many different purposes. And I definitely don't want to go in and make any wrong, because every system is right for whomever it is right for. Very important. Now, a lot of people will not resonate with my teachings, with my coaching, with my guidance, with me as a human being, because they're like, whoa, you are just like woo-woo weird. Like, we don't resonate, and that's okay. And I've had people tell me that, and I'm totally okay with that. So we need to find systems and structures that work for us as an individual, but also us as a collective. So a lot of my containers, I am attracting those who resonate with the vibration that I'm at, with the teachings and the guidance that I am providing. And of course, everybody who comes into my vortex is a co-creator of what we're creating, because I can't create it on my own, right? So we all have a space within the creation. But we need to start with the individual blueprint of our very own system. So the one that I love to use is human design. Now, I don't get too deep into anything. It's not my design. As a 3/5, I'm not here to get in and be the investigator. That's why I've got friends and clients that have got a 1 line, like my husband. They will investigate until the cows come home. I'm not interested in deeply investigating. I am here as an energetic being experiencing things, and quite often throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing if it sticks is my strategy for life. Okay. So hopefully you're getting what I'm saying here. Every blueprint individually is a unique blueprint, just like the fingerprint. Everyone is different. Some can be similar, but they're always going to be different. And this finger has had many different viewpoints, has been through many different experiences. So therefore, we cannot be the same, even if we look the same. Even if our blueprints look the same in the HD chart, we have got conditioning. We have received literally different experiences, and even twins that have had a similar upbringing, that were born like 2 minutes apart. They've got the same human design reading. There would be shifts, nuances within that, because of course, even a couple of minutes apart can change your blueprint. Well, it does. But we've experienced things differently from our perspective, from our brain. We are all extremely unique. So to put ourselves into a collective system and to try to be like everybody else in that, well, it's never going to work. But if we bring our individual expression and genius into a collective system and understand our power within and how we have differences, the geniuses and the superpowers, then of course, even without speaking, we can understand that we are being a great contribution to wherever we go. Give me a 111 in the comments if this is making sense to you. This is purely a channeled day because there's so many things I want to interweave. So it's kind of like the communication day where it was very much a deep dive of the subconscious. The masculine and the feminine energies are within us all, and some of us lean towards the feminine, some of us lean towards the masculine. So I go deeper into this in Magnificent Mediumship and Spiritual Magnificence, my membership. I go much deeper into this so we can actually integrate it and transmute wherever we have been out of balance. So today's all about the balance. But we want to transmute the energy balance because can we really have a balance? We can't have a perfect balance in our life because the world is always happening around us. The world is happening for us, but it's always happening around us, and it's always shifting and changing, depending on solar flares, depending on the collective energy, depending on a lot of different things, okay? What's happening in the cosmos with astrology and whatnot. So with the feminine and the masculine, this is a system that will help you break out of a linear system that you have been told to fit into. Again, you've been told to fit here without it actually going into your individuality and your very own divine blueprint. So if you can use a system to get out of the system, then you are hacking the matrix. Maybe write that down. If you can use a system to get out of the system without indoctrinating into or buying into it too much, you are cracking the matrix. How good does that feel right now, knowing that? So 80% of people who come to me for high-level coaching are in a hustle mode. My job is to, when people come to me, my membership or my cert or one-to-one coaching, my job is to help them to come inward, to calm, to how now, and to come back to simplicity. The hardest thing would, because they want to and be somewhere that they are not yet ready to hold. I help people to expand their capacity. I desire for you to expand your capacity to hold more of your birthright, but we must decondition for that. So deconditioning means looking at the masculine and the feminine and seeing where you are functioning from wounds rather than alignment. So when the 80% of people that come to me and say, I want to be successful, or I want to learn mediumship, or I want to, 90% of people say they want to tap into their life's purpose and their mission, and they'll come into Magnificent Mediumship so I can hone that in for them. I help them hone it in for themselves and decondition. So it's a deep dive, right? is a deep dive that was channeled at 4:44 a.m. from Spirit, and it just came all the way down. But what happens is I have to say, look, we've got to bring yourself into the now to see yourself. So this is why I'm a projector. I'm a mirror. Let's see yourself and start with you. Let's decondition and quantum leap and jump at the same freaking time. How does that sound? Are you willing to look at yourself? Are you willing to see where the energy leaks are? Where are you functioning from a wounded feminine? So wounded feminine energy is damsel in distress, codependency. Why did my life happen like this? It's everybody else's fault. I need help. Oh my God. Or like all of this feminine energy, you think about the collective and you think of like the worst of the female energy. The whole, it's not my fault, it's their fault. I need help. I'm hopeless. It's all of these energies that are not of the so wounded feminine. But the wounded masculine seems to be what I see a lot more in my reality. And I think that's because we're always mirroring those that we work with. So I'm going to attract those that are probably more in a hustle than in a damsel in distress. So the hustle mode is I want to do more, I want to do more, I want to do more. Oh my God, I want to hide. The energy of the wounded masculine is very much of get out of my way, get out of my way. I want to get to the results rather than, okay, let's come into the present. Actually, the present moment scares the living daylight out of the wounded masculine, because if you can imagine the worst of the masculine energy, like the men energy in the world, it's very much, let's get it done, no BS, like get on with it, like I'll do anything I can to get what I want. And we can see this, especially in our cultures over the years, back in the day, where the man was at the very top of the hierarchy and the woman was like, yes, please, can I have this? Like there was an imbalance, not a disbalance, of the female and the male. And now we've come into this equilibrium, and the females have like tipped the edge by going, masculine, got to do it, got to do all the things. And I've got to prove that we can do it, from voting to literally like, yay, we're getting our power back to, I can do everything and I don't need a man. So we've kind of, this feminist action has come in. And this is not to say that I have any opinion about any beliefs. I'm talking about you as an individual, where you are in the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine, rather than the sacred masculine and the divine feminine. This is a blueprint that if you live your life in the feminine and the masculine, I bring this into all of the sales. When I teach business, I'm saying, okay, we need to like work here in the feminine, here in the masculine, here in the feminine. We need to create an equilibrium, a harmonic balance, not in necessarily your structure during the day, but in your whole reality. So I know that I'm more masculine than feminine. It's in my astrology charts. It's in my human design. People are like, wow, you're an action taker. You're masculine. And I'm like, I know. So where do I actually have to bring in the feminine? Well, I bring in the feminine, the flows with the fabrics. I allow my husband to look after me in a way of me surrendering and allowing my goddess to be looked after, rather than like, no, I can do it. I can do it. Is this making sense to you guys? Pop in the chat box. I'm just planting the first seed, the seed of masculine and feminine. And this is just scraping the surface. We go a lot deeper and integrate this in my deeper programs. But it's so important to notice where you're at. And I know in my Spiritual Magnificence membership this week, we're going to go deeply into pleasure, because people are going, I don't know how. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I've been a masculine for so long. I've been in survival for so long to get the things done, and no matter what it costs, because I've been in survival. So we're going to bring in more of this feminine pleasure and reteach ourselves. We get to reteach ourselves and retrain ourselves as we decondition. Okay, let's move on. What if your balance wasn't a to-do list? Okay, so I created a to-do list for today. Get up and go to the gym, Victoria, and then you've got a clarity call, and then you're going to, what was it? Like have a meeting. Then you got YouTube videos. Oh, you got Transcendence, of course. It didn't even feel like work, so here I am. Like, I've got this list of things. I didn't go to the gym. I did jump on the call, which was amazing. I am here in Transcendence. I went out for lunch. I may go to the gym after this. I've got another appointment, and I'm going to do an offer. Creations have popped in, so there's no YouTube. So that list, out of the 10 things, I'm achieving 2. But I've achieved so much more because the 80% of my time today, I've worked on the harmonic balance of my masculine and feminine. I have sat deeply with my feelings. I just share from example, by the way, this is a part of my blueprint. I sat with my feelings. I felt sad. So I'm not going to push through the sadness. I allowed myself to feel the sadness. The minute I released all of that on the beach and was like, everything's okay. Everything's working in my favor. Boom, all these downloads for these incredible diamond offers popped through, and spirit was able to guide me a lot clearer and a lot more concise than if I had followed my masculine list of to-do list. Do you like to-do lists, or are you more of a flow person? I'd love to know. What is your kind of strategy for life? What is your strategy for life? Is it a to-do list? Is it like just filling up your diary? Is it going with the flow, feeling your feelings? There's a few more things I want to share with you. Pop them in the chat box. Let me know so I can come back to it. What is your strategy for living? Mine is my feminine flow, which works in with my discipline. That's according to my human design. So this is what I bring in when people work with me is let's look and see how you work with your disciplines and your structures and your blueprint, because what works for that entrepreneur over there or that medium over there is sure as hell not going to work for me. I tell you that, because I am me and my experiences, my blueprint, my uniqueness, and that's what we need to cater to, of course. So I'm just planting these seeds, these ideas, and it's up to you to take them and go deeper into those questions. What if it was all about your energetic system? 80% of what you create is about your energy. 20% is about the structure and the systems, but we have had it this way, right? We need to untangle that. Are you willing to untangle that now, please? Are you willing to? Are you willing to untangle the way that you have been perceiving what balance actually means? I had to do this clearing on myself today. Transmute, transform, transcend. Let's shift that. Let's transmute and dissipate. I love the word dissipate. The energy around what the word balance means, because we're never going to win if we think we have to create balance, because in this world, there's too much polarity to have perfect balance. But can we have harmony? Can we have harmonic balance, which means we can tentatively write a list? I love lists, by the way. I have books and paper next to me, list. I'm what we call specific when it comes to mission. You're specific or you're non-specific. This is a part of the HD that I dive into when people are working with me in MM in one-to-one coaching. Are you specific at manifesting? Do you need to write things down, or do you just need to feel it? It makes all the difference. Quite often, that to-do list, I'm like, wow, I got 3 things done out of 10, but I created so much more over here. We just have to discern, is this distraction, or am I actually in divine flow? How does it feel? What's popping for you right now? Things that are popped to someone, which I will be. We'll look at all your comments. Then it becomes real. It's planting those seeds. You've just put some water on, put some sunshine on. You're putting it and nurturing your seeds in the correct place to be witnessed, to make it real. Okay, so life has to be holistic. It has to be. I could have gone to the gym. I could have done my YouTube videos. I could have done all of these things that I've got a whole whiteboard here full of things for what we need to do in the next 5 days, in the next 10 weeks, actually, because it's a whole 10-week challenge thing that we're giving ourselves, and it's so much fun. But if a better opportunity comes along, I'm going to take that up, right? So a walk on the beach versus going to the gym. I asked my body, rather than beating myself, I didn't go to the gym, I haven't been to the gym for like a week. I'm like, hang on, but what is so right about this that I'm actually not getting? I ground on the beach. I love the beach. I download information from spirit on the beach. I have got 4 or 5 offers that dropped in today that when people jump on a clarity call with me, this is the offer I'm giving, I will be able to go, okay, ask you a few questions. This is the thing that you slot into. You want to do this? Let's go. If not, sweet as. Harmonic balance creates creativity, feminine flow. Now, if you're too much in your feminine flow, then you may not take action. If you're too much in your masculine, then maybe you're going to bypass the golden opportunities that are showing up that the universe is giving you. Okay. 80% of it has to be energy, but without the 20%, it counteracts the 80% because the universe goes, girl, I gave you the blueprint going forward. I gave you what you asked for, but you didn't take it. You let it slide on by. It's okay. It's fine. It'll come around again, but we need to take action when it's divinely guided and aligned. So play hard and work hard is fine for those who love movement, but sometimes balance looks like deep rest periods of time. So 80% less energy, as a projector, a classic projector. My sister, who is just a few years younger than me, she is what we call a manifest generator, and she loves to move. She loves to run. She loves to walk. I mean, she's doing things 3 times a day plus, like exercise wise, but she's moving all the time. If she was here right now, she'd probably be walking around on a cell phone or doing squats or at a standing desk. She wouldn't be sitting here, right? That is because she is her and I am me. So we need to understand that our cycles, our rhythms, and our blueprints are all unique. So I'm hoping you're getting that because I've repeated it 20,000 times, it feels like. So, what are your cycles? And what are your rhythms and what are your patterns? Patterns are to be broken, cycles and rhythms are to be nurtured. Now, when I talk about a cycle, I'm talking about your menstrual cycle. I'm talking about waves. So some people have got emotional waves and maybe they feel like they've been a bit manic in their lives, and people will come to me and they will say, I am high, I am low, I have been diagnosed with this label, and I can guarantee when I look at their charts, their blueprint, their individual blueprint based on astrology, I Ching, Kabbalah, etc., I can guarantee that they will be emotional or they are empathing, and I can help them decondition that by understanding them. So what are your cycles? Are you high like for a week of the month and then you go low for 2 weeks and then you're high again? Are you like, da, 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 and then you have a massive big drop? Are you like feeling lower just before your bleed? Or maybe you've done menopause, all the things, you're in a different kind of cycle. What is that cycle? We don't even freaking know half the time because we are literally like not curious enough about ourselves. We're always looking externally rather than looking internally. So we need to look at what our cycles and what our rhythms are, and then we need to work with them. So if you're a person and you're going through waves of emotion, the most important thing for you to do is to ride the waves and see that a wave is coming. Have you ever been swimming and you've got your back towards the waves coming and you're like, oh, I didn't see that one, you crashed. And then when you got up, another one came. That's what it feels like when you don't understand your very own cycles and rhythms. And it's quite simple to figure them out. You literally track it. I never knew when my bleed was coming. I would go into a massive drama a week before my bleed came. I'd be messaging my friends and I'd be like, I'm so confused and I don't know what's wrong with me and I'm doubting everything, and my ego would come in. My pain body, have you heard of the term pain body? My pain body would come in and it would just start, I would be wanting to be in pain. Unconsciously. Like I'm not consciously going, give me pain. Like unconsciously, I was wanting to go into the winter. I was wanting to feel the pain, the empath, the 4D. The 4D is where the shadow is. It's a beautiful space if you understand it. Cycles and rhythms, but patterns. There was a pattern. I was a drama queen just before my bleed. Now I'm like, oh, my bleed is coming in a week. How can I serve myself because I'm a goddess? I go into my feminine rather than pushing in a masculine, because that's not going to work, right? How's this feeling for you? Is it making sense for you? Are you able to look back and go, I can see where maybe I was a little bit OTT there, or I was leaking. This is what we call energy leaks. Oozing and leaking and drama. It's energy leaks. Or the opposite of that, because there's always an opposite, coming inward and going, I'm shutting down. Fight, flight, freeze, or faint. What are you doing? This morning I started feeling myself. My son misses me. I've got this to-do list and I don't want to go to the gym. What do I need? What do I require? Expand my capacity, expand my conscious awareness. What am I doing? Where am I in my cycle? What is this rhythm that I'm in? The rhythm of my own beat. What does that look like? Where have I oozed out? And I started looking externally rather than looking inward. Slay in my own lane. A really good thing for this is tapping. It's like tapping out the old and tapping in the new. This is something we did last week in my Spiritual Magnificence membership. We tap out the old point of view, the point of view of, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. I've got to make the most of not having my children here. I need to be in my masculine. That is a belief that is created by a pattern that I have. Like um, it's literally, what's the word? It's really anchored in with a pattern that I've had since childhood. I've got to break the pattern by understanding my masculine and my feminine and harmonic balance rather than got to do. So I break it by saying, okay, I'm going to tap this out and tap in something new. I'm always guided, looked after, and loved, and I'm always in divine harmony with my body or with my business or with my relationship. We tap in a new belief. That is a great system. So there's another seed that I just planted for you. Tapping out the old, bringing in the new. Noticing what our cycles and our rhythms are and where we're creating drama within them because of the patterns that we've really brought into. And we can tell if it's a pattern because there's an ooziness. There is an energy leak. And what I teach in Magnificent Mediumship is to notice wherever you have got patterns on repeat. When people work with me for long enough, I can see their waves. I can see their patterns. I always know what's going on in their cycles. I know what their blueprint is, and I help them to integrate. I help them to transmute the old patterns and to literally transform so then they can work with their own individual blueprint. So then they can literally like transcend beyond what they thought was possible. Does that make sense, guys? How can we change? By taking action on what our awarenesses are without the hustle and the stress. Because the hustle and the stress, this is what my brain tells me I should do, but my heart is feeling this. Always go with the heart, because otherwise you're creating a bit of, I don't want to say that word because it's a swear word, you're creating disharmony. Okay, so how hard you play and work is up to you with what feels good. My work day is a 3-hour work day. And if I'm going to do 6, then I'm going to make sure I'm having 2-hour gaps in between where I'm playing. That works for me. But if I told my sister, hey, here's the blueprint, I want you to work for an hour and a half, have an hour and a half off just to play and rest, then do it again and again and again, she'd be like, can I just not get the 6 hours done at one time? And I'd be like, whoa, that's a lot. And she'd be like, nah, man, I could do 10. You know what I mean? If you're a generator, you might understand it. You might be like, why would I want to break it up into 4 lots? That seems like a waste of time. For me, it's crucial because I have to create a harmonic balance with myself, with my nervous system, with my self-care, with my sacred self services. I've got to do all of this. I've got to be able to communicate with my body and with spirit and those around me whilst in my body, not losing myself. It's all different for everybody. Okay, so we've transmuted the word balance. We have shifted it and made it like a harmonic balance, which means it is unique to your very own individuality. When you're in your individuality, of course, you get to come into a collective knowing that you're in your integrity, knowing that you're authentic, knowing that there's no comparing. Comparing is an energy leak. Comparing is not of the higher consciousness. It's of a limited energy, which is very egocentric. It's ego. Is that the word? Egocentric, I think. Yeah. So, how can we bring more of us into us? So, of course, in my programs, we can do soul retrievals, we can do implant removals, we can do grounding, we do all of these things. But I wanted just to plant these seeds for you. Energy leaks, nurturing yourself, tapping in to the to-do list. If you've done it, do you have to stick to things exactly like that? Are you resistant or is unaligned? It was unaligned to go to the gym this morning. I didn't want to be around people. I just wanted to transmute energy, to transform, to transcend, of course. And the minute I did that, I think it was four or five offers dropped on in. And now I've created space where I can literally take on so many 15-minute calls to see where my clients are at, those that want to work with me, and how we're a fit together. That's magic and miracles. That couldn't have happened if I followed what I was thinking yesterday, because today I'm a different person energetically because I'm always growing, evolving, and shifting. Resonate? How does that feel for you? I'd love to know what your system is, what your structure is, what your cycles and your rhythms are, and what the thing is that's popping for you. What are these patterns that are keeping you stuck? Like I said, some of my clients are like, we don't know how to do pleasure. We need help with the feminine. I'm like, I got you. Let's get into this in the membership. Let's get into the trainings of what it means to start. Because we have to start somewhere and take little micro steps for the massive results. Because the minute you take one step, the universe goes, don't worry, I've given you another step, another step, another step, another step, another step. And we actually start quantum leaping quicker. But we've got to be willing to take the action and to see ourselves with where we're at. And the world is a beautiful mirror for that, okay? Cycles and rhythms are to be worked with. Patterns are to be transmuted with love, not with shame and guilt. So how do you feel about the balance in your life at the moment? I would love for you to write that down. How do you feel? 1 being shit, 10 being, oh my God, so balanced. How do you feel between 1 to 10? Remembering someone's 8 is going to be different to somebody else's 8. It's quite funny. Like everyone, this is an individual experience and it's an experiment. Like if someone puts a 2, that may mean something completely different to somebody else. So 1 being, I have no balance, 10 being, I am balanced as anything. Where are you in that? Where are you in that? And I would say, if you are like this, it doesn't mean perfection. It just means I'm like today, I was really good at transmuting, transforming, and transcending. Within 1 hour, I was able to clean up my energy very, very quickly. That used to take me a month or even maybe 3 months. So I would say that the harmonic balance is pretty high up there for me, but it's definitely not a 10 out of 10. I don't even know if a 10 out of 10 is perfect. Well, maybe it is for a moment, and then it shifts, right? So where are you, 1 out of 10? Pop it in the chat box. Do you feel like you need to learn more about you? This is a really important question. I've spent this entire year learning about me because previously I've been serving my whole life and I love serving, and it's so much easier than learning about myself. I love learning about other people. Other people fascinate me. And I'm so grateful when they open up and share things with me. I'm like, thank you. It's very humbling. But I knew that for me to be the most powerful being I can be within myself, no comparing, just me, slaying in my lane, I needed to get very curious about me. So do you feel like you need to get to know you more? Your cycles and your rhythms and your patterns. There's so many of us, all of us have an unconsciousness, all of us. And I will often say to those that I trust, can you tell me if I'm distracting? And I'll project it out because often I don't see myself. And they'll say, no, that's not distracting. That sounds great. I'm like, okay. And I'll sit with it. How do I feel about this? What is going on? What am I not aware of that if I was aware of it, I would literally be able to transform really quickly or be able to trust myself more? Are you aware of your cycles and your rhythms and your waves? Are you aware of that? Like I said, sometimes a system to get out of the system is amazing, like tracking your cycle or noticing, at the beginning of the month how you feel and at the end of the month how you feel. Like, what are those triggers that you have in your life? We've all got triggers. Is there something that particularly triggers you? I will start getting bitter and I'll be like, I'm bitter because I have no space. So my kids and my husband and people are coming towards me or wanting to catch up. I'm like, no, no, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is a trigger to tell me I need to go have some time alone. Thank you. We talk about what's alignment and what's not. I believe we're always aligned if we're listening. It's not perfection. It's literally listening to what our human is telling us, and all the clues are within the body. This is why it's so important for us to tap into our pleasure and understand the feminine and the masculine. What would you like to add into or take out of your life to create more harmony? What would you like to add into or take out of your life to create more harmony? Sit with that for a moment. What do you need to add in to your life to create more harmony? Maybe it's a sacred self-service. Maybe it's more self-care routines. Maybe it's helping you dive deeper into your unconscious, which is the thing that fascinated me about getting coaches. I'm like, can you help me see my blind spots, please? And my energy leaks and my patterns? Thank you. Because I can't quite see them myself. I want to accelerate this. Maybe you've got too much on your plate and you're like, you know what? I don't want to go to these Christmas events. I don't want to have to always go to all of these things when all I want to do is have some time alone. Maybe you can take some of those things off your plate. Maybe you can outsource things. I've learned in the last 7 years how to outsource a lot more, which was very uncomfortable to begin with because I was so deeply in my masculine. I can do it. I can do anything. I'm superwoman. I'll prove that I don't need anyone or anything. It didn't work that well for me. What do you need to take off or put on? Once you've written that down, maybe pop that in the chat box. Maybe you could write one thing you want to take out, one thing you want to bring in, if that resonates with you. Of course, many of the things I've said today may or may not resonate with you because we're all so uniquely different. Okay, so just to round this off, the transmuting part, the dismantling part, is very interesting because when we find that we've got a mind entity, a loop or a pattern, and we're like, why can't I just get out of this? So a lot of people will say to me in my communities and my membership, like, why am I stuck in this loop? And so what we want to do is we want to pattern interrupt the loop. We want to shift. We want to move. We want to bring something else on that feels more aligned with the conscious awareness that we're currently in and that vibration. So it's really important for us to be able to energetically dismantle as well as taking action. So what I like to do is I like to use the clearing statement. I dismantle and transmute this energy that no longer serves me. I dismantle and transmute all of the energy that is no longer serving me. I dismantle and transmute all of the energy that is no longer serving me. And when we do that, when we affirm that, or anywhere that I'm not seeing what requires to be transmuted and dissipated, allow me to see it. That could be another one, like asking, show me where I'm being unconscious so I can do something about it with ease. Always add with ease. If you don't, then you might be like me and wake up overnight and be like, boom. It's like you've just had a massive, like, it's intense. It's big, right? It's so big. It's like waking up from the matrix and going, oh, dear Lord, what the heck? Where have I been for the last 30 years? Dismantle and transmute all the energy that is no longer serving me, all of the people that are no longer serving me, all of the patterns that are no longer serving me. We bring it up, we dismantle it energetically. You're breaking this up in your aura. This is what you are doing energetically because you are your own healer. You are your own guru. And then you're bringing it down and you're flicking it into the earth. Dismantle and transmute. Okay, how are you feeling? What is going on for you? Can you feel the activations going on? I'd love for you to put a 222 in the chat box if you're feeling the shifting within your vortex right now. Even if you're here watching this in the future on replay, let us know. 222, pop it in the chat box. There is no time frame for this training, meaning it is still relevant in 3 years from now, 5 years from now, because there's not a linear process. So this has been day 5 of Transcendence. This has been a delight. Thank you for being here with me and co-creating this. I do not want this to end. We don't have to end anything. So I would love to see you tomorrow and the next day. And if you are ready to go deeper into a deeper dive, I am ready for you. And I will talk to you later. Lots of love, guys. Thanks for being here. Bye. Namaste.